Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
All right, we have got such a tremendous show for you today. We're being joined right now, as you can see, by Manny Johnson. Manny and I are going to be giving everybody an update on the Florida hemp law changes, what that means to business opportunities here in the state of Florida. And we'll also talk about the new hemp farm and hemp business that Manny and I will be doing with Dr. Blyweiss and a couple of other tremendous thought leaders and industry leaders. So stick with us. We'll be right back after we sell a couple of cars for Warren Henry with Manny Johnson, and we'll go over all the things you need to know about the hemp industry. Reagan, take it away. Manny, welcome to the show. Everybody, this is where I remind everybody we're South Florida's longest running business talk show, and I want to thank you, my listeners, for helping me do that. And I also want to thank my friends at Warren Henry, who've been a sponsor since 2012 here on the show. Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Eric. And of course, thank you, Samantha, and the rest of the marketing team over there. Remember, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar here at their new store at 151st and Biscayne. Down in the Keys, they sell them all. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audi. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry Advantage. That means you get complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, and a 72-hour exchange. You can take 3 full days to make sure you love your Warren Henry car. Guess what? You will. So join me, my mom, and my beautiful wife, Vivian, and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best car, always Warren Henry. That's right. And choose to call me at 305-773-6300. I can help you capitalize your real estate deal. Just got done talking to one of my investors. He's from overseas. He gets all his money repatriated from overseas. He wants a loan. He's got 2 investment properties, a single family home, and he wants to have me help his daughter finance her first home acquisition. Wow, sound complicated? I have the guy to do it, my partner, Ed. Need capital markets, closing on a big bridge loan in a couple of weeks. It's going to be about a $65 million loan on a condo inventory deal here in Miami. It'll be a high-profile deal, front page of the Real Deal. That's right, Catherine Kilgaris. I'll be calling you. But if you need a loan, call me at 305-773-6300. When I call the capital markets, answer. Need a stretch construction loan? I've got 2 different providers for that. Depends on the quality of your sponsorship. But I can get you 70%, 75% at 7 to 8% interest. Non-recourse. Call me, 305-773-6300. Why? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Hey everybody, we're back with more Freed on Business. This is a Freed on Weed episode, and we're here with Manny Johnson. Manny is the go-to person for the cannabis industry as far as getting your licenses done and operational efficiencies. Welcome back to the show, Manny.
Thank you so much, Jim. It's great to be on the show with you again.
I'd like to talk for a minute about what motivated you to get into the business of cannabinoids and why you really want to work with me to focus on the non-THC hemp market. So why did you get involved with hemp in the first place, and why is hemp your focus today?
Well, I don't know if you guys can see what I'm wearing, but I'm wearing a top that is made out of hemp.
You look great, Manny. Very fashionable.
Yes, and hemp is clothing, hemp is building materials for a house. It's hempcrete has an RH factor 15% higher than concrete. It doesn't pollute the environment when you're manufacturing it like a concrete plant does. It's resistant to mold and mildew. You can build drywall with it. You can make insulation with it. And it's also got this magic little flower that you can make this oil from. And it's the same, it's the same cannabinoid molecules that are in marijuana that everybody is touting the government got a patent in 1999 on cannabidiol as a neuro and antioxidant. Okay, that cannabidiol is the same thing in marijuana as it is in hemp, except hemp has no psychoactive effects.
So Manny, question. If the government got a patent on CBD, can everybody use it, or does that mean it's open for everybody and nobody can have the exclusive use of it?
No, the interesting thing about it is the government was running studies, okay, for since the 60s and 70s through NIDA, which is the National Institute of Drug Abuse. Okay, they were sponsoring any type of research that could show that marijuana was a dangerous substance. Okay, and during their research, this is the National Institute of Health doing, with this patent. This is the largest research institute in the world. Okay, so for them to come out and apply for a patent for it, using studies that the Department of the DEA is using, Drug Enforcement Agency is using to keep marijuana and hemp at the time. Hemp got thrown into the marijuana wagon because they both are under the genus cannabis in plants, okay? But they're two isomers of each other. One is right-handed and one is left-handed, okay? Cannabis sativa L is hemp. Cannabis sativa R is indica. It's a form of there are psychoactive effects. There are no psychoactive effects with hemp. So the government got this patent, and they started finding that, wow, this does some things for like Parkinson's, seizure disorder, anything affecting the brain. So they found it as a neuroprotectant, meaning neurons, the cells of your nervous system, your brain.
Now, Manny, you mentioned in a phone call that I was on with you that it also impacted MS, multiple sclerosis. My dad had MS. What's the impact on MS?
Well, it'll vary with patient. It'll vary. The reason it varies so much with patient is because it's so hard to find a consistent source. You might get a CBD or cannabidiol oil this month, and you go back to get it next month at the same place or the same dispensary or wherever you're buying it, and it's not even the same profile. It's not even the same molecules.
So that, to me, creates an opportunity, Manny. Is that one of the opportunities that we're going to exploit when we start our farm and start producing the top quality CBD oil in the country?
Well, that's exactly when the USDA came out a year ago and said they were going to allow hemp to be grown because they saw no detrimental effects to it whatsoever. Florida had to submit its laws and be in compliance with the USDA in order to get the ability to do it. And when Florida made that decision, I decided not to move back to Colorado to work on California, Oregon, Colorado licenses for hemp because Florida is the perfect place to grow it. And we are with people that are, one of them is a medical doctor. So our product is doctor formulated, doctor recommended, because he's been working with plant medicines for the World Health Organization for the last 25 years. And then our lead scientist has literally named molecules. He's worked for the EPA to clean up toxic waste problems. He's worked with increasing the roots on corn.
I wanted to ask you a question, because I know the corn thing is important for food processing, for food production in the other countries and stuff. But I really wanted to talk a little bit about, you made the point, and then I forgot what I wanted to talk about. So corn, before he does corn, he did molecules, he named molecules. What he does is he's an expert in processing, right?
Extraction and processing.
Why is that important, Manny? Why is that important? Processing in general, and then having an expert in processing in particular.
Because that will take that will take the hemp flower and if you're going to make it for a health benefit, health and wellness, okay, it's got to be safe for human consumption. Okay, so when you extract the oils out of the flower, you can't have pesticides, heavy metals, things of that nature. Okay, so it has to be grown properly. And then the extraction oils. Some people are using hexane, for example, very dangerous to use. Some people are using ethanol and claiming that ethanol is a very safe thing to use. It's not safe to use.
What about CO2?
Well, CO2, that's something we breathe out of us every day. So it's not toxic at all. It is, with under the eyes of a professional. And the reason I'm talking about a professional is there's only a handful of people that have had 30 years of experience doing supercritical CO2 extractions. There's only probably 25 people in the country that even know how to calibrate the machine before they start it.
Well, one of the other things I want to talk about, and we're going to take a quick break here, and then we're going to come back, is there's all these growers that are getting started, but there's only a limited number of labs to test it and only a limited number of places to process it. That seems to be that would be a choke point in this whole industry. Chew on that, and we'll be right back after we sell a couple of cars from Warren Henry. Everybody, we're number one business talk show here in South Florida, going on for 13 years. I don't even know how long anymore. It seems like a lifetime. We've met so many wonderful people, done thousands of interviews. I love you, Manny Johnson. What a great interview Manny is. The other people I love are the people of Warren Henry. Thanks to Warren Henry, we've been on the air for the last 13 years. They've been our sponsors since, not 13 years. They've been sponsors since 2012. That means 9 years. 9 years. Sorry, I didn't mean to give a promotion for the extra 4. But we love you. Thank you so much, Samantha. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Warren. And of course, thank you, Larry. And high five to Courtney. She's the one who takes it going at home. So everybody remember, if you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. They're all great cars. They all come with Warren Henry advantage. Look on my website. You can see Reagan and I interviewed both Samantha and May over at Warren Henry. What tremendous people they are. They talk about the fine spirit. When you're looking to buy a car, you want to make sure you also buy it with somebody who cares about you. With Warren Henry, you're their family. So up on 151st and Biscayne, they sell their Warren Henry Infiniti, Jaguar, and I'm blanking. And Range Rover, yeah, thank you. And Jaguar and Infiniti, thank you. Reagan actually said something because we're in here today. That's why I'm wearing my mask. Reagan's power went off. Well, up in Gainesville, they sell Audi. Down in the Keys, they sell them all. What do they all have in common? Well, they all come with a great Warren Henry advantage. What is that? That's a great group of services you get when you buy a car there. It starts out with, if you got to have service, they'll give you a complimentary service loaner. You get dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee. The 72-hour exchange is something that my friends highlight. You can take 3 full days to check out your car and exchange it if you don't like it. Guess what? Nobody exchanges it. They love it. They love it. So join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, all our friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price. Always the best service. Always Warren Henry.
This is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
She's terrific. You know, I don't know if you can see me. I guess you can if you're looking on Zoom. If you're playing it on the audio, you can't. Boy, do I have pandemic hair going over here. It's tremendous. Yeah, Reagan, you got more pandemic hair than I do, though, so let's not talk about that. Hey, everybody, give me a call at 305-773-6300 if you could use some great energy, some tremendously creative ideas, and maybe some cash for your real estate deals. 305-773-6300 gets you me. I'm helping some of my retail shopping center owners, helping finance their tenants, helping the tenants pull some money out of their home so they can stay alive and thrive. I'm helping some developers that don't have W-2 income, cashing out and putting money in their pocket and getting equity for their deals. And of course, I'm doing commercial capital markets work as well. We're doing a $65 million loan for one of the condos down here. We're going to do condo inventory loan for them. We're looking at another one in the $50 million range. And of course, we've got condo construction loans that can go as high as $150 million. So call me at 305-773-6300. Why? Because when you call me, it is always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Sitting here watching Reagan Mendoza do his thing since about a year ago. It's been since I've seen you do your thing. You haven't even been in here for since last March. So Reagan's here flying the show out of my apartment. I'm double masked. He's double masked, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we're pretty safe here. Manny's up in Orlando. He done got a mask on, but he's alone wearing his hemp shirt. Welcome back to the show, Manny Johnson, thought leader in the hemp industry. Manny has worked on many licenses across the country, helped people write the laws in many states. And now Manny's my partner in our new hemp farm. Manny, why should somebody consider getting into the hemp business in Florida, and why should they talk? Why didn't they do that last year?
Well, hemp has only been legal to grow in the state of Florida since April, and really the laws changed 4 months ago. And during that 4 months, it went from a little higher THC content, which was very, very restrictive for the farmers before at 0.3%. Being in the cannabis family, there is no psychoactive effect until you get into the 7, 8, 9% of THC. So 0.3 is minuscule, but they're now allowing, the USDA and the state of Florida are now allowing 1%.
Why is that important?
Well, because it gives the farmer, which is, this is really about saving Florida's farmer, if you really think about it, because we're making a product. The reason it is because it gives them a margin of leeway, because the plant goes through numerous growth cycles. When it goes through a growth cycle, it'll spike up in its cannabinoid profile until it reaches a certain level, then it'll drop back down. And if it ever, and then the USDA had announced that, okay, the product had to be tested before harvest, 2 weeks before harvest. Well, that is the strongest amount of flower development that's going on is the last 2 weeks. So it's going to have a spike there that it normally would not have a spike. So you're really looking at needing to grow it at 0.2% just to keep that margin of safety.
See, now, Manny, what I was searching for is that when you get over 0.3, you get fined. When you do it a few different times, you get taken out of the business. So it really is a business risk for the farmer. They have to destroy their crop. They get fined. They get a black mark against them. It's a bad thing. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about is how easy it is to get into the hemp business. What are the barriers to entry? How does somebody get a license?
Well, getting a license is not getting a license. All you need is an agricultural piece of property. You need to register with the Florida Department of Florida Department of Agriculture, their plant division. Get a license for that. So, and then you're in the business. Okay. So the barrier to entry is very, very low, but the deal is how many people have grown it? And there's only a handful of people in Florida that have even made an attempt to grow it. The person we're growing with started off in Canada growing it with his father on a farm with an Indian tribe. They were missionaries in Canada. In 1979, they were growing industrial hemp. So he's had and it's always organic. So I can point out a lot of reasons you need organic. I can talk about bioremediation. We can talk about creating jobs. We can talk about saving the farmer in Florida who's getting shellacked now because there's no citrus industry left. There's no, they're competing with produce that's being grown in South America, Latin America, Central America that has no labor restrictions in terms of what the labor can be made. And the chemicals that are being used on down there are not legal here. So the Florida farmer you're not seeing a lot of children staying on the farms. And
this is a chance.
Same problem.
To replumb the entire Florida agriculture industry. Our partners also with cattlemen.
Cattlemen are getting killed because the price of meat has gone down so radically. And the cost in terms of carbon, utilization in the environment it's staggering.
What I want to talk about, Manny, is some of the new jobs. One of the things that I've heard you mention in the past is that there's only 7 labs to do the testing on this. So with all these people farming hemp, the labs are going to have a backup. How is that going to be addressed? And how can we create new jobs for highly qualified people in our state that would otherwise leave due to brain drain with the hemp industry?
Well, we're going to have our own, like I said, 35-year, tenured, retired chairman from one of the major universities in farming in the United States. And he's not only going to do our extraction and processing, but he's also going to, during this entire growth phase of the plant from really beginning to end, we're going to be running tests on it. So we will have the ability to do independent testing. I have no idea how the state's going to deal with this because at the last hemp meeting that I attended, which was, I think, 10 days ago.
Yeah, I was on the call.
Yeah, the subject was raised by me as to, how many labs are there that can be used in the state of Florida? And the answer from the panel leader was an attorney, which I was really surprised to see that an attorney's answering questions on agricultural issues, but that's how it works sometimes. And he said that you can go to he said, I'm not sure how many labs, but you can go to our website. And so I said, well, I'm on your website and there's 7 labs. How's 7 labs going to deal with what you just said was 800 hemp licenses that you guys have given out? It's impossible. But the 800 are not going to grow them. They just applied for licenses. You might get 100 people growing it. And if history repeats itself as it has like in Colorado and Oregon and California, you have to know how to grow this is not, I've been in farming 28 years. And when I take on a new plant to grow, it takes me several years to sort of dial in the things.
Manny, what about the person that was on that call at the beginning? I'm not sure you were on, but it was a person who lived in the urban, in a city, and they wanted to have a hemp farm in their backyard. And people on the call encouraged them to go to the website and look things up. That person's heading for financial disaster, aren't they?
Well, it's not illegal to do that. They can't grown on agriculturally zoned property, and they have to have an ag license, which they can't get unless they have agricultural property.
So let's say somebody has somebody went out there. Agricultural property isn't that expensive. It's $100,000 for a nice piece of land. So they go out, they buy the agricultural property. Now they got to plant something. Where are they going to get seeds, or should they use seeds, or what should they do?
Well, we did a study in South Carolina 2 years ago, and we got seeds from literally all the states who had experimental programs. And then we got a lot of seeds from Europe also. And we tried growing them in the South Carolina environment. We found that the seeds that did great, like in Oregon, if you try to grow them in Colorado, they don't grow.
Why?
Well, because the seed, it becomes a seed has to become adapted to an environment. Okay. Colorado is not the greatest. Colorado's a terrible place to grow hemp because it's got high altitude, and it has high altitude, and it gets very, very cold there. Okay. So look at this year. How many people do you think are going to be growing hemp, like in Illinois? I'd say zero. Because there's not going to be a long enough season, because it is still snowing up there. It's freezing. Minnesota, you're not going to see any. You're not going to see any in Michigan. There are distinct zones that you need for strains. Florida in itself, there are 3 different strains there's 3 different growing environments. And with those 3 different growing environments, you need different strains just for that.
So basically what you're saying is areas like in the Orlando North would be 1, areas like in Miami would be 2, areas in the central part of the state would be 3, and they're all distinctly different?
Yes.
Wow. Well, listen, let's go to a break, and then, Randy, let's take a break, and then we can maybe talk about the different zones and maybe organic versus pesticide, and maybe some best practices and mistakes that you've seen. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
Awesome. Reagan, take it away. We'll sell some cars with Warren Henry, and then we'll be right back with more information on the hemp industry with Manny Johnson. This is where I talk about the fact that we're South Florida's longest running talk show. And I got a complaint today about double masking. Reagan, we got to do this remote until we can wear a single. This is ridiculous. But I do the double mask to protect myself, my wife, and you. That's right. So what is our sponsor saying today about South Florida's longest running business talk show? They're saying, come check us out. We want to make you family. That's right. Our friends at Warren Henry want to make you family. We just did a video post with some of them. They were tremendous. What kindness and wonderful caring about each other first. It's interesting. Reagan's right here. Talk to Reagan. It was wonderful to see how much they cared about each other, not just about the customer, each other, the brand. The whole thing was wrapped up in kindness.
It was.
Wrapped up in kindness. Great energy. So high five to Samantha, and high five to Larry and Eric for finding Samantha and letting her formulate that team. That's a great team she has. Remember, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne, that new store that we profiled that day. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audi. Down in the Keys, they sell them all. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all great cars. They all come with the Warren Henry advantage. I think I'm going to get that farm going, Manny. I'm going to go down to the Keys and get a Jeep. Get that big fancy Jeep, a big Jeep. What do you think about that? Yeah, Manny likes that. Well, what are the Warren Henry advantages? You get complimentary service, loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee. And the 72-hour exchange, you can take 3 days to make sure you like your car. You will. If not, you'll exchange it, but no one exchanges it. They all love their car. Join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, a lot of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Isn't this the best part of the show sometimes? Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. I love that commercial. It kind of defines who we are on the show. I love having Reagan here with me because Reagan is just such a positive person. I surround myself with positive people like Manny, and that's how I succeed. So call me, especially if you're positive. If you're not, we just won't do anything. But if you are positive when we talk, I'd love to work with you. I'm helping a family capitalize their investment property. It's only about $1.5 million townhome, but it's important to them, a duplex, important to them. So why is it important to me? Because it's important to them. I treat them just as important as the $100,000 mortgage I'm doing for my fraternity brother who needs it to survive. Just as important as the $65 million bridge loan that I'm doing for the big fancy deal in Miami. So call me. Your deal is important to me, Manny. Your deal is important to me. You know that. That's why we're partners. I love you, Manny. And that's what I want to say to you, too. So call me at 305-773-6300. Why? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Boy, I hope you guys enjoyed that ad. I really touched my heart with that. That went right down, and I spoke to you from the bottom of my soul, boy, which is basically what this show is all about. All about being transparent and honest, projecting who I am, and hoping that you'll want to come do deals with me so together we can remain resilient and do wonderful things in the world. And what a great intro for my friend Manny Johnson. Manny, that's why we're getting together to do it in Hemp.
Yes, that's exactly why, to be honest with you, that's exactly why I've been into farming. I'm a third generation farmer. I loved my grandfather just to death. He taught me how to grow organically. You talk about kindness and love. I remember my grandmother would cook dinner for the girl down the street who had just had a baby, and she'd walk it down the street to her every day. And the one thing we need right now more than anything else as human beings is love, kindness,
yes,
passion for each other.
Yes. Oh, Manny,
we have destroyed in a lot of ways our environments. Okay, we have destroyed our friendships. We've gotten separated so much by social media, and COVID has been
horrible.
God, I've had so many friends. I got 2 friends yesterday, people who were so agoraphobic they couldn't go out of their apartment. A guy I wrote a screenplay with at UCLA. Love him to death. We did 2 documentary films together when we were working on our master's degree. There was a picture of him I saw on Facebook. He was lying on the floor. And it touched me. And I said, "What's going on?" And he said he couldn't take it anymore. And I told him how much I loved him and cared for him. And if he needed me, I'd fly out there and just sit with him. So, it gets into the story of this, why the reason to do this whole thing in the first place.
Yes. What prompted you to get involved in this, Manny? That's what I want to hear. Bring it.
Helping children with Dravet syndrome, having 105 seizures a day, getting half their brains removed by neurologists or neurosurgeons, who that's what they do for a living, is surgery. And, they're not looking at anything non-pharmaceutical. And it was just so funny because I met these guys in Colorado who had came up with this oil. And one guy, Rick Simpson, had been, he cured his own cancer with it. And then we took the oil, put it under the little kid's tongue, and within 3 days, she stopped having seizures. Or she went down from 105 seizures to 3. With my science background, my medical background, my growing background, and my love for human beings, that's why I got involved in this business. And I've been involved in it. I could have done a lot of other things. I don't even have to do anything if I don't want to. But the point is somebody has to be there and not just doing this for money. They have to be doing this to help people and the environment.
Why would this help the environment, Manny?
Because hemp is one of the very few plants that will take toxins out of the environment. And so you've got, good soil, like it's a good rotation crop to take all the garbage out of the ground that you've just put in it, the pesticides, the insecticides, the heavy metals from the fertilizers, and you grow a crop of hemp on it, and it's gone.
But it's in the hemp then, and it's the hemp molecules, right?
Hemp could not be used at that point.
Right.
That's another great point. The idea that, all this CBD oil that you see in the grocery stores and you see at convenience stores and you see at flea markets, you look at it, it's all from Colorado. Really? Colorado, the weather there is brutal. Where's the address it's coming from? And then I Google the address, and the address is a post office box. So, you look where it comes from, and I can tell you where it comes from because I had a business. I had 20 years I did business in China. It comes from China. China's been the largest manufacturer of hemp, industrial hemp. They never stopped producing industrial hemp. So what happens is people in Poland and the Netherlands and some of the other European countries buy the oil in 50-gallon drums. They put it they bring it into their country for 2 or 3 days, change the paperwork on it, get it inspected, send it to the United States, and these idiots are putting it in bottles and stuff like that. They're not scientists. They're not using good manufacturing processes, good handling processes. China could care less about good agricultural processes because their water is terrible, and so is the land. So it just, I'm so glad that the United States has opened this thing up and that the USDA and the state of Florida, I'm so proud of the way the state of Florida is not only experiments, but they're doing a lot of very, very meaningful projects for the farmer in Florida, creating jobs.
That's it.
Next to where we're doing our project, I found out last night, one of my friends in hemp, he needed a piece of land near Lake Okeechobee because Lake Okeechobee is one of the most polluted bodies of water in the United States because of Big Sugar. Okay? So he is doing a pilot project. He's been working with hemp, removing toxins from water, from wetlands. So now he's doing it near Lake Okeechobee to see if we can use this by planting hemp around lakes and golf courses. Some of the worst polluters in the world are golf courses.
Arsenic. Well, I wanted to ask you a question there, Manny.
Yeah.
This gets me close to the issue that I want to talk about, which is organic versus non-organic. So we're going to grow organic. Why would that be important, especially since there is no organic hemp farm in the United States that we're aware of right now?
Growing organically means that you have to know what the hell you're doing. And you've got to have a lot of experience doing it, okay?
Why?
Because it's not easy with the readily available pesticides, insecticides. Oh, I've got an infestation of mold and mildew. I'll use this spray on it. Okay, those bottles of spray are available at every landscape, every gardening place. You buy it by 5-gallon drums.
But then people ingest that, Manny. That doesn't sound too healthy.
the people who are growing it don't care.
I guess that you never meet them.
No, you really don't. You know, you're dealing with a farmer who is used to growing a crop, and he's used to not doing it organically, because organically you have to, we're growing it organically because we're using organic seeds, we're using organic soil. Okay, find me organic soil in the United States.
Well, wait a minute now. What are they growing the CBD oil in Colorado? What if I got a CBD plant from Colorado? What's wrong with that?
Well, it's being grown outdoors in the soil, and I mean, Colorado State was founded basically on mining, silver mining. Okay, that you're talking lead, you're talking arsenic. And my best friends are in Colorado. Okay.
Wait a minute. What about me?
Well, you're my best friend too, buddy.
Okay.
But some of my best friends that I started in this industry were in Colorado, because Colorado State was liberal enough to not only find that, okay, here's a kid with seizure disorder, we give him a little bit of marijuana oil and it stops having seizures. Okay, so then they allowed hemp. So, we started growing hemp there, and we found that the seeds we got from Poland did great the first year, and then we used them as mother seed plants for next year. And the THC content in 1 year, because the plant is adapting to the environment. It's something called epigenesis. And what happens is the plant's adapting to the altitude, the sunlight, and the water and the land. And so what it ends up doing is our second year crop, first year was experimental, second year was 200 acres. We burned 200 acres of hemp because it was too hot.
That must have been costly. Listen, I want to do one more segment.
What you have to do is go back to original seeds.
What I want to do is I want to go to a break real quick, and then I want to come back. And the last segment I want to do is good, bad, and ugly that you've seen in the marijuana business, and things that you're looking to avoid as you move forward in this business, Manny. Give you a couple of minutes to think that over, but I know it's right on the tip of your tongue. Back after this. Let's rock, Megan. All right, this is where I tell everybody that we're South Florida's longest running business talk show, been on since 2008. That's like 13 years. Warren Henry's been our sponsor since 2012. We want to thank Larry, Warren, Eric, and especially Samantha for putting this all together for us. We love them, and which showed in the videos we did with them, thanking them. They are a tremendous place to work. If you get a chance to work there, it's amazing to be part of that Warren Henry family. The esprit de corps is amazing. Remember, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar, they're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. Oops, I forgot. They sell Audis in Gainesville, and down in the Keys, they've got them all. Reagan had to remind me about that. He said, wait a minute, what's up with that? Well, they're all great cars. They all come with the Warren Henry advantage. That's the suite of services that they give you, including complimentary loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, and my favorite, the 72-hour exchange. It can take 3 days to make sure you like the Warren Henry car. If you don't, they'll trade it in for you. No one ever does that. They love their car. So join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, a lot of my friends. Reagan, when you're up, we're going up there. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
This is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
All right. And hey, be as positive as her, and you can work with me every time. That's who I surround myself with, people like Becca and Manny, and of course, my main man, Reagan Mendoza. Hey, what do I want to do for you? I want to surround myself with you too. Please call me. Please be positive. Let's do a deal together. I work with some of the most amazing people, from local bankers to regional bankers to national investment bankers to investors from all across the world. And they all want to do deals here in Miami. And who do they ask? They ask me. They ask me what they should do, and I want to introduce them to you. So give me a call at 305-773-6300. I can have bridge loans, construction loans, stretch construction loans, inventory loans for condos. You name it, I can finance it. 305-773-6300. Call me. Why? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
I'm out. Just got a notice about some new family photos, so got to check that out. Mwah. I love my little grandnephews and nieces. They're so beautiful. My little nieces and nephews, I love them too. I love you, Vivian. Reagan, you're up there too. Manny, you're at the top of the list. So we're here with Manny Johnson. Manny's seen it all. I think that if you've listened to anything that I've ever done with Manny, you know Manny's seen it all. Now we're going to get the bottom line for Manny, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you're considering the hemp business, this is what you should look to avoid. Manny, the floor is yours.
Well, I mean, if we're just talking about the good, the bad, the ugly with hemp, I would tell you that you better know what you're doing in terms of growing. Okay, it's a different crop. It's going to be, I think you're probably going to have over the next decade, it's going to be a revolution in farming throughout the country, because you're going to be able to make clothing, you're going to be able to make housing. You can build a whole house out of hemp products. And I think that you're going to find these cannabidiols. They're discovering new cannabidiols every day.
Well, isn't that what Dr. Blyweiss is going to do with us?
Yes, that's what he and Dr. Salmon will be doing.
Okay, so we're going to actually be inventing new ways to use CBD to make people's lives better.
And we've been doing that with the cannabidiols of marijuana for 5 years now. So
why do you want to switch out of the cannabidiols with marijuana and focus on hemp? Why do you want to do that?
Well, because it's the same cannabinoids. It's just you can't ship marijuana CBD legally across state lines. So anything with marijuana in it just is non. I don't see that changing. I don't care how the law changes. Every state in the United States has different marijuana laws.
Yeah, they'll protect their industries too.
Yeah. So, but I mean, with hemp, we can ship. Every state except Idaho, which is trying to figure this thing out with hemp, but every state in the United States besides that, and 48 countries are our market.
So to me, Manny, I've been listening and talking to you for many years now about this. To me, the big ugly secret is that people will grow this. Maybe it will test hot, maybe it won't. So let's make believe it doesn't test hot. And then they won't be anywhere near a place to process it. These people will be stuck. And so to me, the biggest opportunity in hemp today is processing. I look forward to becoming the general processing plant for the greater Indiantown hemp growers. What do you think about that?
Well, that's that's part of our business strategy, is the idea that we want to be what they call vertically integrated, to where we produce our own. Actually, we'll go from seed to a tissue culture, so we have exactly the same DNA every time. So the plant will grow at the exact same height, cannabidiol ratio, everything, every time. and then go from there to harvesting the plant, drying it, curing it, processing it according to our standards, which are, I mean, the states have extraction variances of 15%. So you can have a product that is, that you say is pure, but it could literally just be 85% pure.
Wow.
It's the other 15%. And that's almost in every state. That's not just one.
So what's the other 15%? A solvent?
It could be anything. It could be heavy metals from the fertilizers to anything else. But the point is it's not pure. And when I told that to our extraction expert, he said, well, we will be within the range of 99.99%. Because if it isn't there, it's not science.
Well, Manny, what is the state of Florida going to do to protect the consumers from bad CBD?
I hope they'll regulate it. I hope that, I hope they'll go for more testing labs. I hope they'll start some more experimental projects. I hope they'll realize how valuable this is to create jobs in Florida and to basically save the environment. Just a quick aside is Nestle just got the permission again to start. Okay.
I texted that to all my friends in Tallahassee this morning at 6:00 with a big angry orange emoji with all the dirty words coming out of his mouth.
Buddy, they did the same thing when I had my nursery in Pasco County, where that's where Zephyr Hills Water used to be. Nestle bought Zephyr Hills Water, increased the production by 1 million gallons a day. Okay. And then they started bottling it and selling it. And so it's funny, but like 4 or 5 years later, all of a sudden there's sinkholes.
I wonder why.
In Hernando County.
Well, that's because they took the water out that was supporting the earth.
Positively, the aquifer was interrupted. So anyway, there's just things that I hope and pray we think about our environment, because that's, we're talking about going to Mars and screwing up another place. Are you kidding me? We need to fix this one.
You're so right. You're so right.
It's fixable.
Maybe we should grow hemp on Mars to take out all the heavy metals from Mars and make it oxygenated for the humans to live.
I would rather start in Florida somewhere around the Indian Town corridor.
I love you, Manny Johnson. Listen,
and I'd like to grow it organically with not only USDA certificates, but OMRI, Organic Manufacturers Research. And
so tell me about your team. We know you got a Jewish guy that's helping you raise money, but how about the other guys on your team?
Don't want to get into religion or culture.
Oh, I apologize for describing myself like that. I mean, come on. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. You've got a guy from Miami that wears black a lot that's helping you raise money. You see, I'm still an old man, Manny. I apologize. I'm still a man of the 70s.
Well, that's fine. I would tell you this, that I've worked.
That's tremendous.
Person with this project I have worked for several years with, some as long as 8 years, some 5 years, but you're talking about working intensely. When you work on a project, the state will give you like, okay, here's the application. You've got to have it filled out in a month. Okay. And they're very complicated. Every state is different. The team that I've put together, we work 24/7 a lot of times together. And so we trust each other. We know the standards we're trying to reach. We've never not gotten a license we've applied for. And we don't even, like I said, that 85% variance that the state gives you. I'm thinking 85% sounds like it's a little bit high. And then, our guy says, oh no, if we're not at 99.99% under testing, that's not science. So it tells me that the machines are not being calibrated properly. It needs to be regulated. We need to regulate this and tell people the truth, that the most of this oil is coming from China. It's a terrible, okay, the certificates of analysis, I would love for every one of your viewers to go on the internet and look how many labs, put cannabis labs closed due to fraud and negligence. Just look it up. It'll go back to the very beginning, because I did this with some doctors from the journal, and it was published in JAMA, the Journal of American Medical Association. And it's because people pay under the table to get the lab results. They just do higher, there are so many problems with regulation. And
I think one of the main things you're talking about is to make sure that we have point of origin, that we put up fencing around the state of Florida to make sure that everything meets our quality standards. And I know that you have access through your folks that you have on the hemp board to talk about these ideas. Manny, I want to thank you so much, as always, for joining us on the program today. What's the last message that you'd like to give everybody on the evolution of the hemp industry in Florida?
I would tell you that in 10 years, you're very likely going to be living in a house or apartment that's been made of hemp. You're going to have automobiles where all the plastic parts are going to be replaced with biodegradable, environmentally safe plastic substitutes. Your clothing changed to where you're wearing non-processed polyester products that pollute the environment, and you're going to have a degree of wellness products for just about everything, because this molecule is a broad spectrum of molecule that has been around for 7,000, 8,000 years. We just have never paid attention to it because we have this thing called big pharma.
Oh, wow. Well, we're not going to touch that railing today. We'll just wait for them to go buy us in a couple of years. Manny, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today, talking about the opportunities and the pitfalls of the hemp business here in the state of Florida. Thank you for being a pioneer in the industry. I want to give you a high five and a thank you for that. And I want to thank you for allowing me to be a member of your team of experts, which I guess by proximity makes me an expert. Woo, wow, how about that? So, Manny, thank you so much for being on the show today. We'll look forward to your update next month, again, on the next edition of Freed on Weed. And I look forward to being with you on all of our conference calls that we have set up to continue to help you develop your farm and your nutraceutical company. Thank you so much, Manny Johnson.
Thank you, Jim, for allowing me to be on the show.
My absolute pleasure. God bless you. And as I always like to say, God bless America. Well, this has been Jim Freed. Thank you for watching this edition of Freed on Business, Freed on Weed with Manny Johnson. I want to give a shout out to everybody who puts their life on the line for us every single day. You can't even imagine who that is anymore, because I think it's just about all of us. I want to thank our sponsors, Kreco AI, Carlson Integrated, Warren Henry Automotive, and everybody else that is part of putting together the show, including Reagan Mendoza. Thank you, Reagan. I want to thank all of you that listen to the show. Thank you to my listeners. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know you're out there because you send me emails and call me. Join our community, give us feedback and comments. Tell us who you want to hear from. Everybody loves Manny Johnson. You can tweet at Jim Freed, Freed on Business, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. The website keeps on getting more hits. If you missed today's show, Reagan will have it posted real soon, probably today. It'll be up in the same feeds as you see everything else on. Remember, this is Jim Freed for Freed on Business. Look for me next Wednesday at noon. Why? Because I just love doing this. And I believe next week is our tech show. So look for me with Andre Senni and the rest of the tech team. Remember, the person who wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. I'll say it again. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Manny, I'm out of here, sir. Talk to you on the phone in about an hour.
Okay, buddy. Love you.
Actually, it'll probably be about 5 minutes. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Reagan, take it away.